Good morning. We are going through Hornbill Unit 3 about the pyramids of Egypt, and especially this article is about the pyramid of Tutankhamun. Actually pronunciation in those time Tutankhamun. So we had gone through its summary, but it was left incomplete for the time crisis, and now we are again resuming it. Summary of Hornbill chapter 3 discovering Tut. The saga continues. It is a newspaper article that we are going through. Now, taking the summary ahead, he restored old ways. He restored old ways and worship of God Amun. Tutankhamun modern pronunciation Tutankhamun was restored old ways in worship of God Amun. Restored old ways of and worship of God Amun. Old ways and worship of God Amun. He changed his name to Tutankhamun. He changed his name to Tutankhamun. Earlier his name was Tutankh. Now he changed his name to Tutankhamun. He ruled Egypt for a short period of 9 years. He ruled Egypt. He ruled Egypt for a short period of 9 years. His mummy was discovered in 1922 by a British Howard Carter. His mummy what means mummy? Well preserved dead body. Well preserved dead body. It is called mummy. His mummy was discovered in 1922 by a British researcher Howard Carter. Howard Carter. It was the tradition, it was the tradition of royal family of Egypt to keep things of everyday requirement, things of everyday requirement along with food and wine, along with food and wine in the pyramid, in the pyramid. They believed in life after death, life after death. They also kept gold in a huge quantity in the pyramid. Most of the treasure in the pyramid before Howard Carter opened it. The rock-cut tomb was 26 feet underground. 26 feet underground. The first layer had garlands of olive leaves, lotus petals and cornflowers. The first layer had garlands of had garlands of olive leaves lotus petals and cornflowers. This suggests that the burial might have taken place. The burial might have taken place in the month of March or April. March or April. So, this is the piece of board work. We just explain it. Afterwards, each photograph will also be sent to you. And then after, we shall go further. Tutankhamun restored the old ways and worship of God Amun. His name was actually Tutankh, but he was the devotee of God Amun. So he changed his name to Tutankhamun. Tutankhamun restored old ways and worship of God Amun. He changed his name to Tutankhamun. He ruled Egypt for a short period of 9 years. He died very earlier. So he could live over Egypt only for 9 years. His mummy, what means mummy? You have also seen one movie named Mummy. His mummy means well-preserved dead body. His mummy was discovered in 1922 by a British researcher, Howard Carter. It was the tradition of royal family of Egypt to keep things of everyday requirement along with food and wine in the pyramid. They believed in life after death. So, the royal family of Egypt believed that the king who has died and buried in the pyramid will have life after death, will stand up after a due course of time, and so the things of everyday use was kept in the pyramid. They also kept gold in a huge quantity in the pyramid. Most of the treasure in the pyramid before Howard Carter opened it. The rock-cut tomb was 26 feet underground. The first layer had garlands of olive leaves, lotus petals, and cornflowers. This type of plants flourish in the month of March and April. This type of plants flourish in the month of March and April. This suggests that the burial might have taken place in the month of March and April. A photograph is being sent to you. So, now this is going to be wiped out. Now next question. Going further to the summary. Howard Carter had faced one trouble. Resins were used. Resins were used resins means sticky substance. Sticky yellow substance. It is called resins. Resins were used for cementing the gold coffin. Cementing the gold coffin. It was impossible to free the body from the coffin. It was impossible to free the body from the coffin. The burning sun failed to melt it. The burning sun failed to melt it. Resins had to be removed. Resins had to be removed with chisel and hammer. Chisel and hammer. They had to cut the mummy limb by limb. They had to cut the mummy limb by limb. Later, the body was reassembled on a layer of sand in a wooden box, then put it in the original place. Later, the body was reassembled on a layer of sand, in a wooden box, then they put it in the original place. Then they put it in its original place. In 1968, the narrator A.R. Williams who is also a researcher, X-rayed the mummy and revealed new facts. X-rayed the mummy and revealed new facts. The breastbone and the front ribs were missing. The breastbone and the first rib were missing. In the year 2005, the mummy was put in the CT scanner. CT has the full form of, in CT scan, CT has the full form of computed tomography. Computed tomography. They wanted to find out how Tooth had died and his age at the time of his death. They wanted to find out how Tooth had died and his age at the time of his death, at the time of his death, after CT scan, it was revealed that Tooth had died 3,300 years ago. After the CT scan, it was revealed that Tooth had died 3,300 years ago. All the doubts were dispelled. All the doubts were removed. All the doubts were removed. Nothing had gone wrong. Nothing had gone wrong. Seriously. Today, Tooth is resting. Today, Tooth is resting in the valley of departed kings of Egypt. In the valley of departed kings of Egypt. Okay, the summary is over. Once again, I am going to read it. Howard Carter had faced one trouble. The researcher Howard Carter had faced one trouble. What is the trouble? Resins were used for cementing the gold coffin. What means resins? Resins means sticky yellow substance, gum-like substance. Resins were used for cementing the gold coffin. It was impossible to free the body from the coffin because it was buried before 3,300 years ago. So it was almost impossible to separate the body from the coffin. Yes, sticky substance was used. The burning sun failed to melt it. Even the burning sun could not melt it when it was kept in the open yard. Resins had to be removed with the chisel and hammer. With the chisel and hammer. And only then it could be separated. They had to cut the mummy limb by limb because Howard Carter had opened it years ago. That time the sophisticated technology was not there. So it was the only option he had left. They had to cut the mummy limb by limb. Later the body was reassembled on a layer of sand in a wooden box. Then they put it in its original place. In 1968, the narrator A.R. Williams, who is a researcher also, x-rayed the mummy and revealed new facts about it. The breastbone and the first rib were missing. It may be possible that it was missing during the research of Howard Carter. It is just one possibility. Other may be also. In the year 2005, the mummy was put in CT scanner. CT scanner. CT has the full form of computed tomography. It is for your general knowledge. Nowadays we are hearing that he has taken for the CT scan. Now in any general knowledge exam, if you are asked what is the full form of CT in CT scan, so computed tomography. It is a CT scan. They wanted to find out how Tooth had died and his age at the time of his death. Why was Tutankhamun's dead body was CT scanned? It was CT scanned to find out how he had died and what was his age at the time of his death. After the CT scan, it was revealed that he had died 3,300 years ago. Tutankhamun had died 3,300 years ago. All the doubts were removed. Nothing had gone wrong seriously. Today, Tooth is resting in the valley of departed kings of Egypt. Summary is over here. Now we shall go for doubt or query, and in the next lecture we shall continue questions and answers.